What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode. Welcome to Tech Condo. It is Saturday. That means that we are live, like we try to do that every single Saturday. And really great of you to be here. I see that we have about 20 people that are watching at the same time, which is really cool. But I do only see a few people that are actually reacting. So I would love for you to just start reacting so that I can see you pop up right here. And also talk to you about the things that you want to have in the discussion, etc., etc. But I do see you, and to prove that, I see you right here. Like Rudy, who is on YouTube, he says, "Good evening, welcome, my friend, all the way from Belgium." And I also see on TV channels who happens to not be here for the full time, but that is the beauty of this kind of stream, is that you can actually see that also after the fact. So you do not really need to be there all the time. That is totally fine. So I do see that there are people also from Mexico. Wow, Paul, great to see you all the way from Mexico. Cool. And from Germany, Eugene is also in the house. Cool. From Rheinland, and that's in Germany. Awesome, guys, really cool of you to be here. And please, go ahead and write down. And if you have any questions, please write them down. If you are new to this channel, I would love to say hi to you personally. So please say new in the comments below so that I can really talk to you and welcome you personally. I see a lot of people have been subscribing the last couple of days, which is mind-boggling to me. 558 is the last time that I've watched, so that was immensely. I'm really happy with that. Thank you so much for your support. Of course, I want to aim for 1,000 and 4,000 watch hours, because that will open up some really cool additional features, and that is really to help you to have a very good experience, but also to reach out to me and have some good community feeling to it. So that is the reason why I don't want to really be about the numbers. I would rather have four or five really cool watchers than 100 that do not do anything. So it's not about the numbers, it's about the quality of the community, and that's all what I'm all about. All right, you might have noticed that the last week I didn't really create a video for that. Yep, it happens. It is really because we had King's Day. Now, that by itself is not a big problem, but King's Day is a national holiday. Our king is celebrating his birthday. That means that basically, typically, the whole of the Netherlands is out and about and having a lot of fun and drinks and festivities, that kind of stuff. Of course, due to COVID, that didn't really happen. And that's the reason why I actually wanted to do something differently this time around, and that is by providing a nice virtual event. So that is the reason why I actually have my phone with me today, because I want to show you what we did. So I will give you some exclusive behind the scenes of what I've done. I will walk you through the learnings as well. It's a bit free format, so if you want me to talk a little bit more about one certain aspect of it, please go ahead and just say, I want to know more about this. So it is free format. The way that I want to approach this is that I'm really talking to you guys, and I'm just going to give you, the learnings about what I have done. So I don't know what not cam 69 means, but it looks very promising. But I promise I don't know what it means. Maybe it's something maybe something really awkward on YouTube, but Lizzie the Lizard, it sounds great, and you're out there, and I actually like your avatar. So there you go. Welcome. All right. So before I start, I want to show you that, well, basically, I also work for a non-commercial public local radio and television station. And what we wanted to do is that we wanted to provide a really cool virtual event for the community. And that's the reason why we went live last Tuesday on their Facebook page. This is the Facebook page of the channel. It's well, you could say Broadcasting Corporation Venray. That's basically what it means. We went live 6 times, as you can see, during that same day. And I just wanted to show you a little bit how it looks like the end result. And then from the end result, I want to go back to, from the end result, to how we did it, what we're learning. So let's just show you this. I am thinking if I could give you also the audio. I don't know if that is going to work. Let me try to make that happen. Let's check if that is working. Okay, let's do it. Let me see if you can hear it. If not, that's fine with me. If not, but this is basically what we did. So I'll just talk about it. So what we did is that we converted a meeting room, and we did play some really cool music, like you can see right here. So we had a cello, we had a pianist and a singer, and they were singing together, and we switched between the 2 or 5 cameras even. So this was one of the shots that we had, and next one, and then I'll go ahead and show you the behind the scenes. So let's go to, for example, this one, which is in exactly the same room, and this is what that one looked like. So just a singer-songwriter, just one person singing, and a lot of different cameras there. Well, now you see 2 of them, but as you can see, we also had a side shot, etc. So basically, that is the end result that we did, and it was really cool to do that, as you can see. And actually, the cool part is that we did it, of course, Corona-proof, which means that we had to do it a little bit differently than we typically do it. And that is that this time around, we actually had more cameras lined up, predefined, and then we just switched it live. And before I start to do that, let me check if I can see, keep up the epic, trying to change the cam. Okay, cool, whatever. Really cool. Anyway, I like your graph. Anyway, all right. So that was the that was the end result. So that is what it looked like. But now, of course, you want to know basically what we've done. So I actually created a video. I have it on my phone. So I will make sure that it's playing. But before I do that, I'm going to make sure that I have my NDI environment set up. So that is something that I typically do during the show, first and foremost, to show you that I'm actually using that. So this is the application that I'm using, Ndi Capture. And I am starting the broadcast. So this is what it looks like. Starting broadcast like so. And 1, 2, 3, boom. So now it's actually broadcasting on my local network. And I can actually then go out of this screen and go to my photos and make sure that I'm ready to show that to you. And now next up is that I need to add the Ndi connection, and then we should be done. Then we should be ready to roll. And this time around, I will add the audio so that you can also hear the audio. And let's get into it. So this is from my phone, guys, just an FYI. Actually, I'm going to show you it's from my phone by just clicking like so. It is King's Day, so that means that we have a party, although it's of course digital. So that's the reason why at the local station we created this room. This is actually a meeting room that we have converted to a stage, as you can see. So we have these nice pipes and drapes that are available right here. And as you can see, you can see a little bit daylight between it, but that's fine. And these are those cupboards that we talked about earlier on. And it really looks really nice. So, and of course, we also need cameras. So this is the camera of Mario, who is actually a viewer of the channel. So that's cool. And this is the main camera right here. So this is the camera that I always switch to in case I have an issue. Now we've got one PTZ optics camera right there that is for close-ups, and a guitar camera. So actually these panels will be converted because of course we don't want people to see it, but it's for us now. And this is the last camera. So 5 cameras in total, which is really cool. And we're using very old lights. Ooh, nice effect. Okay, cool. And that one right there. So this is the lighting rig that we are using. Everything that you see here is lended out, so it's for free for the channel. We're a public, non-commercial channel, hence we don't have a lot of money, but this looks really, really cool. But I believe that you're interested in the So now that you've seen that setup, you now know how it will look like at that venue, so to speak. It was actually nothing more than a meeting room that we've converted into a studio. We used the pipes and drapes that you've seen. So these are big black curtains, and with the lights from below, you can give it all kinds of different colors, and all of those 6 artists that you've seen, all of them have a separate color, so that when you look at it in one go, it looks like there is something going on. There is it's not always the same thing. So that's really cool. And next to that, we had 5 cameras. So one camera, which I call the ISO camera, and that's of course because of the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO and ATEM Pro ISO, ATEM Mini Pro ISO. You think that it's all about the recording, but ISO in that case is just isolated. So it means that that camera is always steady. If something goes wrong or you want to, it's like a safe zone, and that is the reason why we have one camera, and it's always camera 1 in my productions. That's always the one that I can blindly go to. It will always work. So camera 1 is my ISO camera. That's the default. That's the safe zone. Then we have 2 additional cameras. Typically, these cameras are manually operated. So we also have an intercom typically, but because of COVID, we could not really do that this time around. So we actually, like I said, predefined the look and feel. So for example, with the cello that you just saw, we actually predefined one camera only on the cello, and another camera that was the PTZ camera that took this shot right here or this shot right there to make it more intense and interesting to watch. The PTZ cameras, I will talk about it in a few seconds. And then we had a third one, which was also typically a operated camera. So that means one ISO camera, not operated, just one global view. You can always go there. It's a safe zone. That's the way that we used it. Then 2 cameras that are operated, because operated cameras can act more quickly than a, PTZ camera, for example. Then we have indeed 2 PTZ cameras by PTZ Optics that I actually programmed for a few setups. And I don't recommend PTZ Optics cameras for nice, smooth pan and tilt movements. I don't trust them, to be honest, for that. But I do trust them for predefined positions that you can always go to, and then maybe doing some small adjustments and then just go to switch to them. Then they're perfect. That they're really good. But for Pen & 2, you can do that, but I don't trust them for that. That's my honest opinion. Sorry. So those are the T2 PTZ cameras, and typically that's camera 4 and 5. And those two cameras are, of course, not operated separately on location. They're operated right next to the producer of the show. All right, so that is a bit of the technical thing that we had in that venue, and now we're going to go back to the video to show you where where I was sitting, and to let you learn that as well. So let's do that. Production booth. So we have to go through the radio studio in order to see that. So let's go there. Of course, Corona proof. Radio. And this is my booth right there. Of course, I'm using my Extreme right here. And I've use these outputs. So in this box you have all kinds of converters, because these are of course are SDI cables. These two screens are PTZ cameras, so that I can mimic them a little bit. I do that with this device right here. And of course I have my trustworthy laptop and the multi-view right there. So that is what we have so far. I always forgot to unmute myself. Sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to say that that's my setup that I had right there. So I actually have this really cool 19-inch rack that I had for 8 years. Can you imagine? I already had that 19-inch rack for 8 years. And basically what I did the day before we went live, I actually thought of how can I get rid of this mess right. Let me show it to you. It's a little bit small. Let me try to make it a little bit bigger for you. There you go. So how can I get rid of this right here? So I had not 4 but 5 of these these SDI to HDMI converters. I'll show it to you one more time, but then in the way that you can really see it. So 5 of them. Of these, and I was like, I really don't like that, having that out in the open, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look great. I want to get rid of all of those cables, and so I actually immediately started to think about how can I use it. And like I said, I had that 19-inch rack, which I can actually show you. Here you go. This is live. This is the 19-inch rack right here. And I actually had this already ready for me. So the only thing that I needed to do, and I'll take this light here so that you can see, the only thing that I needed to do was to repurpose those HDMI connectors right there, totally on the below end of the 19-inch rack. So I already had 6 HDMI connectors, so that's 5 inputs. And 1 for the multi-view, 1 output totally on the right hand side. And basically what I did, I actually just put the converters in the box and just connected everything, and at least it looked great, and it was way quicker to just hook it up, and it just worked. And that was really cool. And the input 4 and 5 were the PTZ cameras, and those were also routed to those two monitor for camera 4, monitor for camera 5. So that meant that I had basically a 7-inch, I believe that they were 7-inch, might be 8-inch. But I had a nice big screen, and I do have I do have glasses, not for nothing, because my eyesight is not perfect. So it was really good to have a good monitoring, so that I could make sure that the frame was good, and I could make sure that everything was in focus, and that was really, really cool. Anyway, let's check out some questions, because I do see some questions that I want to react to. Geert, I use PTZ with USB joystick on the lowest pen speed. Works great. Geert, yes, I understand that. And I agree with you that it is still possible. The reason why I don't really recommend PTZ optics is that I had quite some trouble with my cameras. It doesn't have to be with you, right? So I want to be very clear with that topic, is that you might have the best feeling about that brand. I actually really, I just bought that joystick, right? So it's not that I don't like them at all, but for the purpose of panning and tilting, what I really have a few times is that it just stays panning. So if I had a joystick, I have a joystick right here, and I do this. I'm expecting that if I press like this, it goes to the right hand side, and then it flips back, and then it just stops. But what it does, in my opinion, for me, sometimes, and not all of the times, and I cannot really grasp on when it happens, but sometimes I do this, and it comes back, and then it will just go away and stay. It will just go on to the very end until it's right there, and then it will stay there. And that is not really something that I want to have in the live show. So that's the reason why I just try to limit that part. I just want to have some presets that I can go to, some safe zones again. And with that Super Joy joystick, which is really good, I have to admit, at least I have some really nice presets that I can really just one push of a button will go to that one preset, which is really great. So, but I understand what you're coming at, so that's fine. Also, preset slow movement with Companion. I know about Companion already. I actually haven't yet used it, believe it or not, and I will be starting to use Companion in my setup, because I have some real use cases. I do own, for example, X32 Behringer that I want to use in combination with my ATEM Mini, with my VMix setup, and indeed with my PTZ optics camera. So I think that the combination of the four of them will be very nice. And so I do understand it, and I believe that you're right here on that topic. What was there on the left of your desk? Okay, so I think that you are talking about the PTZ joystick. So I'll show you that part again. Let me go to my video. Maybe I have a picture of that. I think that I have a picture of the setup. Yes, I do. Perfect. I'll make sure that that's a little bit bigger and show you what I was also looking at. All right. So, Eugen, this was the desk setup that I had. On the very left, I had the PTZ Optics Super Joy. That's a new joystick. It just was released, I think, early this year. It allows not only to utilize PTZ Optics cameras, but also Sony cameras, also bird dog cameras. And so it's very flexible. Now I have to admit that BirdDoc I does not use BirdDoc yet for me, because I have to upgrade the setup, the firmware for that. But I now know how to do that, so I will do that very shortly. But I do like it. What I like about this the Super Joy is that it has two modes. One is a more let's say advanced mode. That's where you can do everything that you like with all kinds of color grading, which I actually did with the same joystick, which was perfect. we have to talk about that before I forget. You have the advanced, which will allow you. I don't know. It's like 99 possibilities per camera. It's like a lot of presets per camera. At least I can tell you that. So it's quite a lot. But what I really like about it, and especially if I am producing the show, I don't want to have to look at that joystick. I want to really just hit a button like on my Stream Deck that I have in front of me. I do use Stream Deck here. I want to have that possibility and just press a button and it will automatically go to that location. So the cool part is that it has I think it's called matrix, and that means that you have the first 3 cameras. It can handle more cameras, but the first 3 cameras you can have 3 presets per camera. So that means that so those 3 cameras I can always go to. So that's exactly what I did. I had to produce a show and just hit the button on the joystick when I was in a different camera, and then that meant that I was ready to go in like within a second, which was really, really great. So that is the Super Joy on the left hand side. The computer that I use, the laptop, is an Omen gaming PC or a gaming laptop. I really, really like that laptop. As a matter of fact, I'm actually using that laptop at the moment for this show, believe it or not, because that was not cool. Believe it or not, I'm using that for my show due to the fact that I am using it to display this part. And if you're very, very much paying attention, you will see a green screen on the top right there. That is the laptop, and that's exactly what is going to this part right here below. So that is a bit of a back to stage thing right there. And then let's go a little bit further. I am using the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO right there, and you do see a lot of cables, which I actually don't really like, but that's the way it goes. And then the dual screen is by Blackmagic. The device in between the screens and the connectors is the intercom system, and we will be talking about that intercom system separately in a video later. And on top of that, you don't see that on this picture, but maybe if I do this, you can see it. Yeah, here you go. That is a 1U 17-inch screen that allows me to have a very good experience so that I can actually see what I am doing. Now let's talk about one more thing about this product right here, is that maybe I can actually zoom into it. Come to think of it, these buttons that you see on the top level, those 4, let's just put them right there. These 4 are actually OSD buttons, and that means that you can actually go through the on-screen display of your PTZ Optics camera and change all of these settings. And I really needed to do that because on this picture, let me go there, you can actually see that there's a color balance issue right there. So the first 3 are quite okay-ish, but the camera 4 and 5 are a little bit more colorful, and it took a while, but you can actually just use those buttons to really do some serious color grading on those cameras to make them almost perfectly aligned, which is really, really nice, by the way. I was really impressed about that. Cool. Let me check. I see that there are some other people here, so let's check that. Hey Brett, what's going on, my friend? All the way from Canada. How are you? Here says I use Visca commands via companion. There is a Visca stop command. That might be useful, and I think that I will also verify if I can make that happen here as well, because I think that that needs to be possible. Eduardo, welcome all the way from Brazil. I hear that you got some serious barbecue there, my friend. So I'm a bit, yeah, I'm a barbecue lover, and especially the Brazilian barbecues are mwah. They're perfect. I have a Brazilian colleague at my day-to-day job, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I have that friend. But can you please provide a link to that joystick? Thanks. Yes, so look it up. Go to ptcoptics.com, and there you'll find Super Joy. It's let me show you on my screen. Let me do that. Okay. Yep, that's the correct screen. Let's go there. Okay, let's go to... Oh, I have to make it a little bit smaller because of my limitations on my PTC Optics. Go to ptcoptics.com. There you go. And then you go to cameras and accessories. Then you'll see here joysticks. And then you need to find the Super Joy, which is the last one that you see here. This is the Super Joy. Again, it was released early this year, so it is still looking at the firmware. It still needs some updates, but it has a lot of promising features. So here you go. It's has. I mean, the buttons are really cool. The custom control for the cameras are great. The backlit of the lights are great. Really helpful. And here you go. Here are some key benefits. You can do some serious combinations of cameras and also macros, even, if I can call it like that. So there are some special buttons on the device that you can do multi-layered steps, like a macros, like for example companion macros, and I think it has a lot of potential. So it is not cheap. I say that. So for 900 euros or dollars, it's quite expensive. But if you see the amount of protocols that it allows, Visca over IP, Pelco, DNP, Sony, and NDI, you can say that it's a very flexible piece of gear, and it might be very helpful for you. I think so. That is where you can find it, and yeah, let me know what you think. That's too expensive for me. I use a $15 €15 USB stick. Yeah, of course you can also do it that way. The thing is, Geert, is that if you have a multi-camera production, and I cannot talk for you, but I want to make it as easy as I can, and I could do this. I could afford this, hence I did it. But I can imagine that you also want to do a cheaper version. I totally agree on that topic. Jason, welcome, first timer. Welcome, very nice of you to be here. Hope that you're doing well, and really appreciate you for taking the time to be here and to say hi. And again, if you're new to here, like Jason, please go ahead and say that you're new, say hi, and so that I can say to you personally and welcome you personally, which is really cool to do. Bernd, which PTC cameras are you using? I'm still searching. Is it also PTC Optics? Yes. So the beauty of the Super Joy is that it does not need PTC Optics cameras. It can actually also use different brands, like for example Sony and Burdock, like you just saw on their website. I do have in my possession two PTC Optics cameras, and I can get hold of a Burdock one to try out for one day to see if I can have a three PTC Optics PTC camera setup, because two of them are still a bit limited. However, with 5 cameras, it's not that limited no longer, so that's quite nicely done. So yeah, PTC Optics, that's the one. Hey, Mr. Jenny, you have a good equipment. Thank you so much. Yeah, I again, I try to I have to admit, this is one thing that I need to talk about. Let me just stop this part. I really need to talk about purchasing equipment and that kind of stuff. even though Techano might be new for you guys, for the most of you, I have been streaming for about 5 years now. And of course, the first few years, I don't look at the first few videos because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I have been around I have been producing videos for about 10 years now, and I literally started with, let me show you. There you go. So my starting point was 2 of these. So I had 2 of these cameras. That's where I started to buy my stream with. So these are Canon Vixia and a Blackmagic ATEM television studio right here. So this is where it all started with. Come on, focus. Come on. You can do it. There you go. So the Blackmagic ATEM television studio, and this is what the back looked like right there. So it had 6 channels, and it was a very good experience. The only thing was that the reason why I went away from the ATEM Blackmagic was that it was very limited if it came to what resolutions it could handle. This one could only handle 720p, I believe 60 or something, and 1080 I50. Those were the 2. That's it. So that is where I started with, and the reason why I'm showing you that is that all of what you see right here and what I'm showing you during those demos is something that I'm building up in 10 years time. So yes, I do have a lot of gear, and I have good gear, and luckily I have the possibility to do that, but it's not overnight. That's what I wanted to say. It's really, really important that you need to start with purchasing maybe some gear, but don't do everything at once. Just start with something small and build on top of it. Actually, if you look at this video, I'm actually using this camera, and this is a Sony a6400 camera, and all of the other cameras that I have here, I also used that one right there. So the one that I have right here, that one I also used just because I had it ready for it. But you don't need to have a lot of gear to make a cool impression. So that's what I'm basically going to say. Start as soon as you can. Did I already use a white A4 sheet to do white balancing on the cameras? Yes, Geert. So that was another thing. White balancing, yes. However, if I used the white balancing at this time around, the backdrop became different colors. Like green became bluish, red became purplish, and then it was white balanced. So I had the additional problem that the front lights were not really white. I was not responsible for that part, so I could not really help with that. Otherwise, I would. Here in this studio, I have everything as white as I can get it. Well, that's not true. There's a little bit of a yellowish part in there, but it's really limiting. It's mostly white light, and that's for what I prefer myself. And that's also the easiest way to color balance. And I totally agree with you, but that didn't work out. I tried it. I have a picture that shows literally an A4 piece of paper on the microphone stand to color balance. So yes, that is a way to do that. I totally agree with you on that. New Jersey, welcome. Really cool of you to be here. LG Production, Video Production Solutions. And Bernd, you are also new here. Welcome. Really cool of you to take the time. Mr. Johnny, I'm using a Sony HDP PJ810 for 8 years old camera and still good. Yeah, that's another thing. So you do not need to buy new cameras all the time. Now, of course, this is a €250 product right here. So it's not a very expensive camera, but I am actually not really using it anymore, but I'm still keeping it because it reminds me where I came from. And it's also for me very important, if I talk to you, to show it to you that you don't have to go on start with big products. You can also start small. Actually, these days, the best camera is the one that you have in your pocket. I really mean that. So because you have it always with you. That's what I think, at least. Let me think. So we were talking about white balancing. The white balancing was a challenge. Also because setting, I did figure out how to set the color temperature on the system itself. However, I actually also needed to do some other changes. So actually, that was another thing that at the start I could not get the on-screen display working on the joystick, but it turned out that I could get it working at least if I would go to the camera and just press the remote. And I now have learned that I can actually also bypass that by installing a new firmware on my camera, so that it just works perfectly all the time. But that was something that was also a bit of a challenge. So indeed, if there's a learning there, I have to make sure that I'm using the right, correct new firmware. Let me think. What was the other things that I was also learning about? Another thing that I was learning about was that I actually used vMix on the laptop solely for recording. I actually didn't even stream from that. It was just there as a separate recording. So it was the ISO recording to the disc, to the Samsung T5 that I use together with my Extreme, and vMix also separately did a recording, so that I had two places of the recording, so that I could make sure that I had always a fallback scenario. So that was another one that I learned. What was more? Let me check. I am checking my notes quickly. One more thing is that during the stream I had some issues that I didn't have enough bandwidth. So again, because you have the recording, you don't have to worry about it. Then at that time it's like, okay, no live streaming at that time. But what we did was, that was only once, by the way. We just had to re-upload it as a recording, and that was perfectly fine. All right, so those are the learnings that I actually had during this past week. Basically, making sure that I had my 19-inch rack already right here. So I actually had those 5 HDMI channels right here, which was really helpful by making sure that we were on time and ready with that. And also, what I also like to have those 2 additional cameras. But this is really cool. This is one of my latest things that I purchased. This 17-inch screen is beautiful, because as you can see now, it doesn't take a lot of space, which is really nice. Anyway, talking about that 19-inch screen, and let's round up a little bit. I am in the process of building more than one of these. So I want to have a separate one that is totally devoted to audio. Like I said, I do have a Behringer X32, and I want to make that part of the 19-inch rack. I have some in-ear monitors and wireless mics that I want to use in one 19-inch rack, which will also be helpful for if I have to produce a show. So that is a difference. So there's a difference between recording what is happening during an event or producing the event. So that's I'm more going into the production. I used to do more of registering what is happening during the event, And now my clients want me to go a little bit more into producing the show. But that also means that there is a lot of additional things that you need to take into account, and that is a change of a process in the way that I work, and I want you to be part of that journey. And I'm expecting that maybe during the summer months or directly after the summer months, we will be starting to build those 2 additional 19-inch racks that are all 6 high, 6 measurement. The height is the same, but then there's one that is about audio and the other one is about routing and recording. Whatever that means, right? So I do believe there's a lot of benefit in modular ways of working. So that is the reason why I'm doing it that way. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time during this show. If you have any questions, then let me know. I will be producing a very cool new video very soon, and that is about this product right here, which is the ATEM Extreme stand by come on. Aaron Parecki, that's it. Aaron Parecki, by Aaron Parecki, he made this nice stand, and we will be talking about that in a separate video. Of course, he already did the smaller one, so we will be talking about that very shortly, and I will talk about what I think about it. I really think it's good, so that's the first thing that I want to say. But you do need to take into account some parts there. It's not 100% perfect. Aaron Parecki, yeah, that's it. Sorry, it just happened. Sorry. So yeah, really cool stuff. Next to that, I will be talking about the use of live view. Oh, live view. Not this one, but the live view solo during in combination with the ATEM Mini very soon, because I think that it might be very helpful, and I'm gonna let you know why I think it's very helpful to at least think about it. It's not cheap, but if you really need to have a good quality signal, then these products are really good to take into account. At the moment, I'm also still waiting for my hyperdeck to come on, because that is also something that I'm hopefully planning some cool videos about. And we also had it about Companion just a few minutes ago. I will also be starting the process of connecting all of the gear with Companion, because I do see the benefit of it, even though I also want to make sure that I can use the ATEM Mini as isolated as possible without too much gear around it, because I want to simplify as much as possible, because some of you might want to have it simple and other people want to make it really beautiful with all kinds of cool gear, and that's also important. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. There's a lot coming up. The coming week, maybe one video, and the week after I have some free time, so I will most likely produce a little bit more video in those 2 weeks that are coming, so that is great. So expect more. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, because with that I am closer to reaching the goal of making it possible for you to have an even better experience, which I really am looking forward to. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you next week, same time, same place, and I hope that you have a fantastic week. Bye bye.